chess. Chess. For the life of me, I will never get over that. The kids in school weren't bad. Provide them with an atmosphere to grow, teach them the rules of the game, and we could play anything. The home ec room at Mary McLeod Bethune, where all the chess wars took place, became my alternative future for Black America. That's what it can be like, my voice would promise. That's Black Power. I want you to remember that. I told him I would. Mary McLeod Bethune Academy showed me some other truths. One, I had to live more. Question more, expect more, do more, be more than I was. Pissed me off to see the black kids, all the Latino kids, all the poor kids trying to talk, walk, dress, think, act, and be the same monolithic stereotype. If lowered expectations was the legacy of the old school, I summarized I was therefore a leader of the new school and consciously tried to change the scenario. But the few times I talked to my peers, my voice always faded at the end of my sentences. It was as if I had so much promise and energy and was ready to tackle the world at the beginning of each thought. But as soon as someone's eyes hit me, I realized I was naked and had to put on the right clothes, the right shoes, the ones that I could never afford to wear in order to make sense in their eyes. And by the time all that fear processing hit, my voice was gone, along with the meaning and whatever I was thinking. Every day I battled between should I? Should I try to be as different as possible, simply to show my schoolmates there were options for all of them? I mean, that was truly my reason for fashioning some ridiculous answer to questions that my peers asked. I wanted them to see that we all didn't have to wear the same British knights or the fat fake gold earrings. And why would anyone want to parade around in something that could get them killed on the walk home from school? There was more to life than they were seeing.
Why do you gotta be goody two shoes all the time? Why don't you talk in class like the rest of us? Why don't you curse?
I wanted to tell people that the reason I didn't curse was because the sermons in Seventh day Adventist school or the Anglican church that I went to back on the island preached a fire and a brimstone hell for those who cursed the Lord. I wanted to tell them those fears were still in me, along with a respect for authority and the sanctity of education. But that would have taken too long. They didn't know me, and I would never know them. Talking seemed pointless. Other people wanted to ask two things in particular, why I wore the clothes that I did and what kind of music I listened to. You listen to heavy metal? Yeah, I mean, I listened to heavy metal because rap wasn't doing it for me. I literally could not follow the lyrics. I could not understand. And I told them that I liked Motley Crue and Poison and Judas Priest or Anthrax and Guns N' Roses. I had heard those groups from my white friends back in Jersey when I went to their houses on the weekends. I have to admit there was some of the music that I liked. To this day, I still think Guns N' Roses' Appetite for Destruction is one of the best albums I've ever heard. The question about my clothes, that was harder to answer, and I usually avoided it, not wanting people to know that I was poor. I mean, they were poor too, but along with everybody else. They managed to wear the triple fat goose coats, the Congo hats, and the latest Jordans. I still wore my cousin's hand-me-downs or anything my mother found on sale at Pitkin Avenue or Fulton Mall in downtown Brooklyn. Besides Beckham, I don't think I had any real friends. I talked to a bunch of people, said hello and played basketball and baseball and all that stuff with a bunch of the guys in the class. But in terms of knowing somebody, I don't think I did. And I don't think I had anything in common or much in common with my classmates. And yet I felt special among them. I had achieved not because I became like everybody, but because I refused to be like anybody else. And at the bottom of it, it was all teenage defensive me insulating myself from the world so I couldn't be hurt in the least by stepping out and failing. But to me, in the back of my head, it was proof that I didn't have to lower my standards to fit in anywhere. And all I gave up in the process were my friends, my family. I gave up a decent life of talking to people and getting to know people, and a chance to find out about me and interacting with. I mean, if I could do that, then anybody could. If they could give up their family and just concentrate on academics, then there'd be so much promise in Black and Latino folk. That was in my head.
Are you nuts?
My voice repeated one night.
You don't honestly believe that, do you? Life is not in the accolades, it's not in the grades. You're getting A's, but you're still not happy, kid. You don't even know how much you hate yourself.
My all too logical mind soon surmised that The happiness and peace that I sought must therefore exist in all the interactions, in all the daily grind, and all the things that I was missing. Friends, family, faith in myself. That's where life really is. I thought about this, and I thought, and I thought, and I thought. And finally, I accepted this. After all, I was a smart guy. I had to accept the answer from my smart brain. On graduation day, I wore my red cap and gown like everybody else. My mother was there. All the teachers told her what a joy I was to teach. She doesn't understand.
How could she? You've never given her a chance. Do you know what she has to go through to get the money? Would you like to wipe old people's or cook and feed them all day and night? I know you have nightmares of her getting mugged and raped or killed on the train ride from Manhattan. You say it's not your money, that you don't deserve it, that it's her money. And who are you fooling? You're a spiteful little boy in denial. And you're creating that space in your head where you put her and the dread and the anger and the vengeance and the hate and the denial and the fear and the loathing, and it's building, preventing me from growing. It's getting harder. I can't grow up. That rock is in my way. I don't want that lion near me. It's poison. It's your anthrax. I need my space to grow. And the more you keep thinking, hello? Are you listening to me? Hey? Hey? Hello? Are you? Hello?
From the podium that day, I gave my valedictory speech. And it was technically fine. Mr. Matthews helped me polish it. I was deadly afraid of speaking in front of that big crowd, but his confidence gave me confidence, and we practiced for 2 or 3 weeks before graduation, and I felt fine going into it. But what I started realizing as I looked out from that podium, I had been working for a piece of paper that ultimately meant nothing because I didn't feel any emotion surrounding it. I saw kids who had struggled in their work. Their families seemed overjoyed. Some of them had made it that far in life. I hadn't struggled in school. I just never tried anything else. There I was, the pride of Mary McLeod Bethune Academy's 1990 graduating class. They even voted me most likely to succeed. But inside, right then and there, with all the lights on me, I already felt like a failure. Although I made my speech and got a cheer, my voice didn't show up that day.
I felt ashamed. I don't want to be part of this lie. I show up when you start being honest with yourself.
What I keyed in on that June morning were the hugs and the tears. Parents were crying, kids were crying, teachers were crying. Why? What had I missed while I was busy studying and acting like a disciplined adult? What joyous imperfections had passed me by while I was trying to be perfect? What love had I refused to let into my heart? What child had I forgotten to be? I remember walking into my apartment and being awashed in darkness. Sometimes it wouldn't happen right away. I might have been hanging out with some schoolmates, always listening to what they were saying, trying to figure out what it was at 14 I was supposed to think and to be. Those conversations I had often dismissed as being unnecessary held clues that I began to pay attention to. In the summer of 1990, with high school a few months away, my family could no longer be the liability it once was. I could no longer be my biggest hurdle. I saw them and me as a professional laboratory, my laboratory. I was the anthropologist, the scientist, the one guiding my life. My mother, her boyfriend, my 2 younger sisters and 2 younger brothers, they would all be subjects in a grand experiment that I thought would result in making me a more complete human being, the person I wanted to be. They were going to teach me all there was to know about myself and the human family. And I could do it too. Wasn't I just crowned the smartest kid in school?